Welcome back to the channel. This is shop update number 3, or as Tyler would call it, shupdate number 3. Today we're talking about Mike's 1970, originally an F250 camper special. He got the truck from his dad, who basically bought the truck new and enjoyed it for many years. He had a camper on the back, they would go hunting. It was used. So Mike is now bringing it back to life. A great job for a really great customer. A couple of things kind of laid out the foundation for the project. We wanted to do modern powertrain. So this is a Gen 3 5-liter Coyote with a 10R80 transmission. It's a 2-wheel drive truck, and it's going to stay a 2-wheel drive truck. We approached this project with a little bit more of like a driver mentality, but there's definitely a couple little things that snowballed out, like the leather interior and different stuff like that, but that's normal how it goes. Nonetheless, overall, this job was really meant to just be toned back. Like every time that we can just rein something in, their intention is to use this truck. So a couple of things just starting in the front. We converted the grill, so this would have had a 70 grill. We converted it to a 68, 69 grill. Relatively easy conversion that's available to get all the parts. It's not necessarily reinventing the wheel, but it's just a nice conversion. It gives it a good look. We lifted the entire truck off of the frame, prepped everything, stripped what needed to be stripped and didn't what didn't, repainted it. This is a color that we came up with the help of Mike. It's like gold micro sequin in it, and we modified the blue a little bit, just try to get it to the point that he liked it. The white is a Wimbledon white. We deleted some of the trim, left just the center line. We were able to get all that stuff new, fortunately, which was great. Some of it was pretty beat up, and it's really relatively inexpensive to get new trim. The fit's not perfect. The fit on the truck overall is just good. Like I said, staying with that driver mentality. The bodywork is good. It's not over the top like some of these other projects that we do. It's trying to consistently, it's always like reeling it back in. So a good project though. The front has still got the twin I-beams, just all rebuilt and lifted. There's a steering modification that we might end up doing that converts it to, I believe it's called like a swing set steering. Gets rid of some of the inherent bump steer that these trucks have. Fortunately, with this particular project, the customer was able to drive the truck before. He's had the truck for a long time in his family. So he's familiar with the truck and how it drives and how it handles. So he knows what the trade-offs are basically. You know, this truck's not going to drive like a brand new truck, but he already knows. And that's something that is challenging to communicate to a lot of customers sometimes on what they can expect the finished product to feel like. So it's a benefit knowing that. It helps him make good decisions too. The engine bay is relatively just functional. Matt has really been kind of leading up this project a lot. Brian's been involved, everybody has, but he's done a good job just keeping it functional and accessible, very similar to our Bronco. And you can see a few videos back about our Bronco. That's kind of the same theme we've carried onto this project too. So everything's super accessible. It's a stock Ford ECU, which ties into the transmission controller and all that stuff. It's all tied together from Ford, which is a great way to go again, just for the simplicity of it. Ford spends millions of dollars to make this stuff work, and there's no reason not to take advantage of that when we can. Really good for this application. Fat Fender Garage also makes a lot of conversion parts for these Coyotes, and a lot of conversion parts specific for this truck. If we can lean into that resource, we do. They have a great radiator. This is a Wizard radiator with brushless fans, so it's all PWM controlled, which works great. You know, the radiator outlets, the steam port, and everything is already set up on this radiator. It fits in the core support nice. We're in vintage air, so condenser and everything. We had to modify and screw with it a little bit, but it worked out pretty good. Most of the wiring and the hose routing and everything is just left exposed. It turned out pretty clean. Like there's not a whole lot to it. We'll also put one of the Gen 4 covers on this. You can see we've got our adapters on here right now. That'll go on this engine as well. Probably end up painting this intake tube, just painting it black. Yeah, last week Matt fired this thing up, went through. It's just a nice point to make it. Like on our full builds too, we'll go through and wire and plumb and everything, the really big projects, and get them running before, and it just answers a lot of questions. Like we don't have a drive line yet, we don't have the tires, but it's like, it's just a good point to get to. Okay, it runs. That's good. It holds fluids. Okay, good. Work through our big checklist of stuff as we get these projects done. Odyssey battery as well, which is a gel AGM battery. Those have been doing really good for us. Battery kill switch, just like we always do. Willwood brakes. We went with a proportioning valve that mounts right on the master cylinder, which works really good for these. Simplifies it, keeps it all together. Just an adjustable proportioning valve, which we do on pretty much 99% of everything. When we change the disc brakes, we change the weight of everything. We can't really rely on a stock proportioning valve. So We always do the adjustable ones. We go out and do like some skid tests and just screw around with it to find a nice spot for it, and it works. And we don't have to concern ourselves. Like, that's an issue I see a lot on people when they go to do a disc brake conversion or something. They run a stock proportioning valve for the brakes, which basically gives the bias between the front and the rear, but it's different for drums, it's different for disc, it's different for different weights. So you have to be aware of that, and using the adjustable one when you know how to use it is the best way to go. So this has got a full Willwood disc brake system, front and back. So it's an F250, but we converted it to a 5-on-5.5 lug, which allowed us to use the same billet wheels that we put on the Bronco. Slightly different back spacing and stuff, but the basic same concept, which has got like the dog dish hubcap. It's a really cool look, just a vintage look. It seems like a big theme that I'm seeing is like OE plus, taking some of the OE styling, but just enhancing it. So taking an OE style wheel, but just making it a little bit bigger around to fit kind of an original style truck, which I'm totally into it. And that'll be kind of the same theme on this truck, really. We also added cab lights. Mike and Scott wanted those specifically. An interesting fact that Matt found out about these trucks is from the dealer, they never came with mirrors. So all the mirrors were dealer installed, and they had several different options. They've got tube ones that come like way out, and some of them even have like a third arm because they stick so far out they need the support. Some that just mounted down here with like another bracket. Crazy. But this one had the really big ones, and we wanted to get rid of those, like the big camper special ones. It just wasn't right. A local guy that has a bunch of these trucks apparently that we ran into, Derek machined some parts for him, and anyways, this connection, he had some and he brought them out, so that was great. So there'll be like a stainless original mirror, but the shorter style, which will be really nice. Matt's been working on getting those all polished up and rebuilt. Fat Vendor Garage makes an interior for this truck. I kind of touched on this in our shop tour, but what's great about these trucks for a kit interior specifically is all the panels are pretty modular. So like the door panel is the door panel. It doesn't like bump into the kick panel or have to go all the way back to the back of the door. So they can make a really nice piece that we can bolt on. I mean, there's a little fit work, but really there's not a whole lot. Same with the seat. Obviously the seat is standalone. Kick panels, they do this whole dash pad. We're just doing like a ACC carpet in this, which is just molded with a mass backing. Dakota digital gauges, which is all electronic, modern stuff with air controls. Vintage air controls that are basically look stock. A stock style radio that's got AM, FM, Bluetooth, all that. Put a little sub and an amp behind the seat, some speakers in the kick panels. Just gonna be a nice sound. It's a small cab, so it doesn't really take a lot. Put all the insulation on the floor, and it really should sound good. These engines are pretty quiet too. They can be when you're cruising, which is kind of nice and pleasant. Like they got a great sound when you start them up. They kind of tone down quite a bit, especially when you isolate and insulate everything as best you can. Kind of a cool look with like the distressed leather and the diamond pleating, all stuff. So like when you go and pick all this stuff out, like Fat Fender Garage has basically templates that you work through. You pick, you want diamond pleating here, what color do you want? So Mike and Scott were able to go through and pick out exactly how they want it and just basically click order. It comes in a big box and we get it and have the seat. It also, from a builder's perspective, helps us keep it moving. You know, we can do all of this in-house. We don't do upholstery here, but we can do an install like this here. So anytime we can do everything else in parallel as we do the upholstery, it really helps keep the project moving. Overall, it's been a really good experience using that. It's kind of the first custom kit, I should say, that we've done. We've done like stock replacement stuff. But cool how they kind of bolster the seats too, like a bolstered bench. We also did away with the big fill neck that just kind of hangs out and just did this little flush mount deal. Got rid of the fuel tank behind the seat. We used a stock replacement saddle tank, but did the Aeromotive fuel pump install. So the location of it worked out good. So we were able to just cut a hole in the top of the tank and drop that pump in. So it's an in-tank pump with a full return style system. It's just bulletproof. Whenever we can do an in-tank fuel pump, we do. Putting them on the rail, they just always make a little bit of noise. Having them submerged in the fuel helps keep them cooler, and it's actually better. It's the reason all OEs do it. It's got a Mosier 9-inch rear end in it. We wanted to do a disc brake conversion. We wanted to change the lug pattern. By the time you rebuild the stock rear end and do all this other stuff, we're really building this truck more as a half ton. Like the suspension will be more half ton because it's just tailored towards ride quality. We're not going to be like putting a camper back on it. So it just made sense for us to change the rear end up to a 9-inch. Pretty easy to get from Mosier, and all came together good. Long bed, big rig. Oh, another thing I really like about this truck. I would honestly cut my truck apart to do this. Just for whatever reason, I've always liked it, but it's got the side toolbox, which is just like, why not do this? There's literally nothing else there. It just doesn't get in the way. It's so accessible. Pop this thing open, grab your straps. They just all rot out, but because they all leak. But this one was actually pretty good. Another thing, just because we didn't need to like sandblast everything, was this is an original, not original bed liner, but let's say this bed liner is 20 years old. We found this material, this basically like a dye, that you clean the bed liner really good, and then you put this dye on it and it refreshes it and makes it look brand new again. So you can see like the tailgate, this is old, we didn't do anything with this, and then the bed sides have been like refurbished, which I don't know, I didn't even know that product existed, and it worked really well, so I'm sure other people would appreciate that.
You're gonna need to give the product name if you want them to appreciate it.
Drop a comment and I'll give you the product name. Drop a comment and I'll look up what that product was. I'm so bad at remembering that stuff sometimes. It's like not important. I would love to have this truck. Like literally everybody in the shop like wants this truck. I feel like they would take it over many of these other cars. It's cool and seeing the value in it. Like I've become less afraid of not making everything absolutely perfect when you just stand back and look at what we're actually doing this for. Yeah, it's a good thing to lean into a little bit sometimes. It just has to be functional and solid. Check all the boxes of the things that we basically require. We did stainless exhaust on the whole thing. Brian did a great job putting together that kit. Used some similar mufflers from another project with a Coyote that we did just for the sound, which is great because Mike was able to hear how it sounded, so we can kind of replicate what's done there. And Fat Fender Garage also did headers for this, which is really nice because these engines are so wide that it's just helpful to have a header that will work, that we know will work, that dumps the collector in the right spot. But these are good jobs. It's cool, and hopefully they feel this way, that you can just jump in it and go drive it. Just a good job. It's really rolling along good. Like I said, it's running. We're waiting on some lift springs for the back. The wheels, 33-inch tires. Yeah, it should be a good look. Look forward to seeing it out this summer.
All right, you're gonna hate me. I need you to pose with the car. Give me like a point. We gotta make some thumbnails here. Stand towards me. And don't look so upset like your mom brought you out here. Not scared of it.
Oh, man. Tyler, I don't know what to do here.